This is a Photoshop pen tool tutorial. If you're in the Essentials view, the pen tool can be found in the toolbar. Select it and you'll see now the pen tool icon. Over here I've made some screen grabs of some of the popular tools that are found underneath the pen tool. The pen tool, free transform, add anchor point, delete, and convert. Let's start with the pen tool. Your two choices are to click or click and drag. So when using the pen tool, you're going to be creating paths. So when you can click and you click again, the first click leaves a Bezier point. The second click creates another Bezier point and it connects the two with a straight line. To deselect from this, you must click off the actual work path. Your second choice is to click and drag. You can click and then click and drag. The center where you clicked is a Bezier point. On the outside you have two round handles which allow you to modify the curve. Once you release the click and drag, it'll be locked in place. Clicking off the work path will once again get rid of the work path. Notice there is nothing on the screen. This is a mathematical calculation or a vector-based calculation. You can also click and drag your first point, and that is not a line. You see there's nothing there. And you can do a single click on the second, and now the handles are over here. You can also click and drag as well as click and drag, and now you've got this compound curve. So those are your two options with the pen tool. You can click or click and drag. Clicking and dragging creates the handles that allow you to bend or modify the curve. Once you do have the curves here, the convert tool allows you to then modify it. So you can delete handles, redraw handles, or break handles. So click and hold on the pen tool and go down to the convert point tool. The convert point tool will allow you to then grab a handle and modify the curve. Notice if you've got the double handles, you can actually grab a single handle or both handles by using the third tool, which is the direct selection tool. The direct selection tool can be found underneath the path selection tool. Notice it is a white arrowhead, not to be confused with the black arrowhead, not to be confused with the selection tool. I'm going to click off here and use my pen tool. Click, click and drag, click and drag. I'm going to go to now my direct select tool, and you'll see that this allows me to move Bezier points. So I can click on an actual point to activate it. I've released the mouse. Now I can click and drag that Bezier point. I can also move the handles. In this case, you notice that the handles are in fact moving together. They have not been broken. You cannot break handles that have not been broken. If there is a single handle, you can modify the single, but if it's a double handle, it cannot. If you do need to modify it, you need to go back to the convert point tool, and this allows you not to break the handle, which is what this point covers. The handles are now broken and will move independent of each other. That's how the pen tool works. One more demonstration. If you click, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and come over your first point, you'll see the letter O appears. That'll close this path and create a vector shape. Once you do have a vector shape, if you click off your work path, you'll notice there's nothing there. If you select the work path, you can also click the shortcut to fill the path with a foreground color. In this case, my foreground color is red, and I can click it to fill that area up with red. Whatever layer you have selected is the layer that will receive that color. I'm going to click undo. I can also apply a stroke. Now the stroke will be a 1 pixel pencil line. If you want to modify that, that's on your path palette, your palette options, which is the black triangle with the 3 lines, and then you go down to stroke path. You do need a path selected to be able to stroke the path, and here you can switch, for example, to the brush tool. Click OK, and now you notice it applied a thick brush to it. What size is that? If you go to your brush tool, it's whatever brush size you have left here. In this case, a 5 pixel 91% hardness brush with the foreground color. I'm going to undo that once again, and then the third option down here is to actually load it as a selection. The pen tool creates paths, so every time you use the pen tool, you're creating an actual path. A path is not actual pixels, it's a vector math equation. Once you do have a path, you can then modify it using the convert tool. The convert tool allows you to click and drag to create an actual handle. So click and drag on a point. Once you do let go, you can actually break a handle, which allows you to create those reverse C-curves. And if you don't like the effect, you can just click on the original Bezier point to remove the handles. So once again, you can click to remove, click and drag to add, or click and drag a handle to modify a curve. Using the direct select tool, which is the white arrowhead, allows you to move these actual points. Once you do actually have a shape that you do like, there are some shortcuts available for you. Using the pen tool, I'm going to hold down the control key on a PC, that would be the command key on a Mac, and I'm going to reactivate my path so I can see all my Bezier points. So even though I have my pen tool selected, by holding down the Control key or Command key, I can then modify and move these points. By holding the Alt key, which is the Option key on the Mac, I get the Convert tool, which allows me now to modify my curves on the fly. So Control gives me the Direct Select tool, which I can move my Bezier points and handles. Alt allows me to then modify my actual curves or actually remove curves that I do not like. And with the Add and delete anchor points, those are used to actually remove any anchor points that you may not like inside of your path. You can also go to the Add anchor point in case you do need to add a couple anchor points, and then continue with your modification process. That wraps it up for the pen tool tutorial. Hopefully you found this very helpful. Be sure to watch the rest of our tutorials on 5minutetutorials.com. The best compliment for us is always a referral, so please let everyone know about our site. Thank you.